population that collaborated with organization in Thailand. So she has the grassroots experience as well as the policy experience. And then later on I will introduce the other speaker who represent the implementation side of the policy, since they both work NGO that work in Cambodia as well in Thailand with Cambodian migrants. So please, Kyoko first.
Very much. This study we have was under the leadership of DBC and the DBC funded Migrant Action project, which is in Cambodia and Thailand. So this is our team members who have carried out the study together. So this was basically this study with some key informant interviews in Cambodia and Thailand, and with our key informant from LPN and LCCW is also here. So actually you're having all the original sources of information here. So if there is any more question about this, maybe you can ask also our colleague friends from LPN and LCCW. So this, I think you, for people who are familiar with anti-trafficking, might know well the number of victims by nationality for trafficking. So you can see here, but then this is considered to be gravely underreported because, as you know, trafficking is a very complicated issue. But then you can see, even with a very limited data, the extent of number is quite extensive. So what we are going to do is to share with you some of the major laws and regulations that is there in Thailand and Cambodia, and then also some of the recommendations that we have through our study. So first of all, in Thailand, what they are officially trying to do is to try to get everybody to be on the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding. So they want everybody to register in Cambodia and come legally to Thailand. So the government wants everybody to do like that. However, it is also very well known that it's very difficult to do so, especially because MOU process is very complicated, it's very expensive, it costs something like 20,000 baht, and then once you do it, you can come here for only 2 years, maybe extend once, and you can stay only 4 years. So it's not really something that is worth investing on. So people do not really not very keen to go for MOU. So what they do is that they come and start to work. So the government being very flexible, they're trying to, if you come, so-called pink card, was supposed to be the temporary registration card, which was given to migrant workers, is going to be abolished in 31 March. Now, if they will not be able to do it also, now they have extended to June. But then, so they want everybody to go under nationality verification process. So which costs something like 4,360 baht for Cambodians to do the nationality verification. So, and then in October, until October last year, the Cambodians had to go back to their country in order to do nationality verification. But since last year, October, Nationality Verification Center for Cambodians were also open in Bangkok. So now they are able to do it here. But then it's still, the pace of this process is very, very slow. So that's why they can do only like 200 per day, whereas in order to cover everybody, you have to do it within the time frame. You have to do 2,000 per day. So you can see here how like the backlogs are very, very large. So there is a lot of problem about MOU and nationality verification. So for the 2017 ordinance, Royal Ordinance, you might have heard, read in the newspaper and all that. So that has been a big issue. Why the big issue? Because the penalty that was introduced in 2017 ordinance was very, very high. If the employer hires somebody, undocumented worker, you have to pay something like 400,000, 800,000 baht per undocumented worker. And then the workers, if they are caught undocumented, they have to pay something like 100,000 baht plus a 5-year jail term. So a jail term was also introduced in the 2000 ordinance. So of course, I mean, this is too unrealistically strict and unrealistically too high penalty. So during this time when this was announced, many Cambodian workers have gone back to Cambodia. So during the 2017, there was an exodus of Cambodian workers going back to their own country because of the fear that they were having in working in Thailand. So with all this pressure from the employers, the government have introduced an amendment in 2018. So that has been reduced the penalty and then also abolished the jail term. So the penalty has now gone down to 100,000 baht, not 4,000 or 800,000 baht. So the penalty has gone down. And also the undocumented workers' jail terms were also being removed. Also, they have also introduced a clause saying that the employers can deduct cost of registration from the worker's salary, but they cannot deduct more than 10% of the salary. So this kind of clause were also introduced in the 2018 amendment. So it has been some kind of an improvement in terms of the registration regulation in one sense. So that is the current situation now. But aside from the nationality verification, the government have also introduced the special provision at the border areas. So in the border provinces, employers can hire workers with border pass. So the border pass have to be renewed every month, but then they get 3 months work permit. So they don't have to do nationality verification and all that. They just have to renew this work permit and stay permit every month or every 3 months. So that has also been introduced at the border area, which kind of coincides with the special economic zones at the border area. So that is another part of the policy that Thai government has. Now, so this is for labor migration. So by the way, so the reason why we're looking at labor migration is because the undocumented, the unsafe labor migration and trafficking have a very fine line. So without really addressing the safe labor migration, we cannot really tackle the issue of human trafficking. So that's why in this particular report, we have looked at both the labor migration law as well as the trafficking law. So all these things that I have been discussing is the labor migration part of the law in Thailand. Now for the trafficking, so anti-trafficking law, in Thailand they also have quite a good series of laws. So they have anti-human trafficking law, which includes both punitive as well as protective measures. The reason the addition to this anti-human trafficking law is this Royal Ordinance of Fisheries in 2015. So this was because of this IUU fishing regulation that they have to address the issue of fisheries. So that has been introduced in 2015 that requires boat owners to inform authorities of the departure and arrival of boats, the catching trip, and then all the details at the port, in-port, out center, the people center. And so this, and then in order to prevent trafficking in fishing vessels, they also have to declare the number of crew members and seamen books. The Ministry of Labor's regulation 2014 also have this said that employers have to follow certain methods of payment for the wages, as well as ensure first aid and maintain bathroom hygiene on boats. So all these regulations are put in place, but still the studies that is done in 2015-2016 still shows that payment is lower than minimum wage, salary is withheld, restriction of mobility is identified. So all these violations of all these nice laws are being recorded. So it has been identified that it is because of the lack of monitoring systems that is there in the system. So the citizenship status we go to is again another area which I think I will go back to this in the recommendation. So and then we go to the issue of Cambodia. In Cambodia, again, the laws are perfect. I mean, they're almost perfect. They have a very good series of laws. For labor migration, since 2011, they have been introducing this private recruitment agency laws, which have to again protective and preventive measures for migrants. So they have a very nice series of laws, which also trying to introduce everybody to go into MOU system, going through the legal channels, through these so-called the PRAs, the private recruitment agency routes. So that has been made. However, in practice, that is in the laws they say that okay, the passport will cost you $49, and then these PRAs have to have their office in Thailand and follow up with your recruits, so that you can protect them. So all these requirements are specified in the law. However, things are the implementation is a little bit more murky than this. So even though the laws are there, also the workers do not trust these agencies, these PRAs, and they still want to kind of go with other brokers, that their relatives and friends that they know. So they trust these people rather than the officially recognized public recruitment private recruitment agency. So that's another problem that is there. That there's a mistrust among the migrants to go through this nicely created legal routes. Also, in terms of human trafficking, I think this one I will leave it more to Her Excellency John Wee, because she is the vice chair of this committee. But what we see also is that the laws in Cambodia is very well written in the international standard, according to the international standard, and but then the coordination, implementation is also a problem. So they also have this National Action Plan on Anti-Trafficking 2014-2018, which they work closely with the civil society awareness raising. So the awareness raising have been done to quite a good extent. So recommendation. So our recommendation from the review of these laws is that, first of all, it is important to make it easier to become legally documented migrant workers. So that is very, very important because still it is very difficult for the workers to register by themselves, either because it's expensive, because the documents that is required is too complicated, it's too time consuming, or they are totally depending on the employer. So these are all very much of a issue. It's also the case that the national verification process information is not disseminated very well, especially to Cambodians who are already in Thailand. So this is another area that the information is needed in order for them to be able to obtain the documents by themselves. The second issue is to make it easier to change jobs. Now, in the laws, they do have a clause saying that you can change jobs. The migrant workers can change jobs if the employer have died, bankruptcy of an employer, abuse of an employer, non-compliance with the contract, potentially harmful working environment. Yeah, so all these reasons you can put in order to change your employer. And then the 2018 amendment further says that, okay, if you can prove that the employee, the fault of all these difficulties is because of your employer, you can change the job. But then you have to prove it. Yeah, so there's a big crunch here that you have to prove the misconduct. Yeah, and then also the 2018 amendment have also extended the number of days that workers can change a job. So before it was within 15 days, now within 30 days you have to change a job. So it also in 2018 amendment have also introduced that there's a fine for employer if they confiscate their document, because that has always been the case, that this document of registration has been confiscated by the employer, so the workers cannot change job freely. Yeah, so now they have put up in the 2018 amendment that if you do that, you're going to get fined. However, yeah, so these are nice laws, but again, it's very difficult to implement. Yeah, you have to understand the power relation between the employer and the worker, and then it's very difficult for the workers to just come around and say, okay, I want it because it's my right. Yeah, so without any support to really implement these rights that is now being put in writing is not possible at the moment. So the law is good, but then the implementation there is no mechanism to really implement this nice intention that is there in the amendment. So also allowing migrant workers to form their own unions. So this has been the problem that it still does not allow workers to form a union. It's also important to support creation of CBOs for Cambodian migrant workers, especially for information dissemination and also the support, and then so in order to realize all these rights that they are now given. And so because Cambodians migrant workers compared to Burmese migrant workers, they are quite scattered. So it's more difficult for them to come up with groups. So they need more proactive support in order to come into groups and then have a mutual support with each other. So that's another thing that we wanted to highlight. Tackling issue of statelessness is also very important because the migrant workers, there are some people are here for a long time, some children are born here, they do not have any legal status in Thailand. There is again laws which would say that okay, if you're born here, you can get Thai citizenship if you have graduated from bachelor's degree, you're fluent in Thai, you're loyal to the monarchical democracy. With all this, you can be a Thai, but it's not automatic. Yeah, so again, these are all on the discretion of the local authority, and then depending on whether he likes it or not, and then you can get or not get. Yeah, so it's not really automatic. So that's why citizenship for the migrant children are still in a limbo. So again, there is a law, but then there's too many holes that will not allow them to implement those nice laws. For the trafficking, so again, the laws are there, but then the problem is that identification of the victim is very, very fuzzy. Yeah, so there are definition of traffic victims. So the civil society groups like LPN will identify traffic victims, but then they inform the authority say that no, these are people who are not victims. Yeah, so there are some identification problem that is too fuzzy that creates more problem. Also, they say that you have to testify, you have to identify whether these people are victims or not within 24 hours. Again, for victims, being able to just confide with you what happened within 24 hours is a big challenge. Yeah, you need more time in order to really be able to say it in a proper way so that they'll be able to identify that this person is a victim. Now, so 24 hours is too short. We need more time in order to allow these victims to be able to express themselves so that they will be identified correctly. For Cambodian government, so one is that reducing time and cost of MOU process. It's the passport is supposed to be $49, but in reality this is not really followed. So another problem is this accountability of the PRAs. The trust to the PRAs is very important. It goes also to this the last item addressing the issue of informal brokers, because they trust the informal brokers more than the PRAs, which is a problem. So which needs to be addressed in some way or the other. Coordination among this NCCT is a challenge to really make NCCT function very effectively. Also, another problem is that the Cambodian and the Thai officers at the border have different understanding about traffic victim identification. So sometimes they identify as traffic victim in the Cambodian side, but then the Thai side authority might not think that they are traffic victims. So we do need a joint training so that everybody has the same kind of understanding. We also need to have the improved definition of child trafficking. Again, child trafficking, the trafficking laws in in Cambodia is very good. However, the children are also treated at par with the adults. So they do not have separate clause to identify child traffic victims. They think that the traffic victims have to be coerced and so abducted, deceived. But then for some children, according to the international laws, they even without this. So if their children are moved for the purpose of exploitation, that is 100% trafficking. Even if the child is not coerced. If the child have gone willingly with you, but then if the person has intention to exploit, and then they're supposed to be a victim. But then that kind of giving special attention to children is not very well spelled out in the Cambodian law, which needs to be specified. Also because children are not willing to identify the accused, because the accused are normally their relatives and parents themselves. So they do not want to say that I was forced into this. And then again, in order to understand this kind of situation, we do need a separate definition for child traffic victims. So we have other recommendations, but then these were the very important ones. So I'll end here. Thank you very much.
Her Excellency Chuboneng, a reflection from a policy standpoint.
Thank you very much for organizing this meeting, and thank you, Chubur, for your finding. And I think that most of the finding is, I can say that it can be acceptable. And I just would like to add something, learning from the experience, not only now, the collaboration between Cambodia and Thailand government, because we found, the migrant workers, first time, in 2004. At that time, we have, there were only among 200,000 of migrant workers who are staying and working at the seaside area like Rayong or Chonburi or something. And the two governments just had the good collaboration at that time to identify the migrant workers and have the willing, to legalize them since then, But at that time, we found that they cannot finalize the process, and still we continued until now. The number of the migrant workers from Cambodia is not only 200,000 who are undocumented, but recently, we found more than 1 million. And more than 1 million is the number that they are registered by the company. But who are the underground? We do not know yet. And at that time, we also have the MOU between Cambodia and Thailand, and both countries, accept to send legally, by the legal channel, to Thailand. But at this time, we found that only 30% of them, less than 30% of them, who are coming here to work by legal process or legal channel or MOU. So it does mean that the policy is policy, and the agreement is agreement, but in fact, the implementation or in practice is not the same, So we found that why. I think that for me, because I talk now in the perspective of the anti-trafficking in person, because we are there, to work on the relationship between migration and trafficking in person, because we found a lot of people who are detained, who are deported, who are dismissed, and some pass away or die already. So I think that within the migration, cycle, they face a lot of problem. Migration itself is not bad, but the issue, during the time of migration is many and need to be solved. And why like that? Because if we talk about migration, all migrant workers, they are not at the sending country, they move to the destination country already. And they have their own tradition, their own language, their own perspective. But once they are working in another country, it does mean that the two countries has different laws, policies, or interests, or tradition, or perspective. So it faces a lot of problem. And at that time also, we found that the two countries commit ourselves, to collaborate with each other to provide the opportunity to the people who are working here already, more than 1 million, to be the legal migrant workers who have the right to work here and stay here legally. Unfortunately, until now, because of the date or the time limited, we can say limited because we just try to solve the problem promptly after the restriction, of the law in June 2017. So 6 months to finalize or to provide the legal purpose document, to the more than 1 million of people is not enough. And right now, you see some of them just finish or terminate, the legal document already, and they need to review or to re-register again. So I think that the process for me, I can say that cannot be terminated or cannot be finalized during the time set. So we have the question mark, so how to do? Because like I told you that once we learn from 2004, we cannot just finalize on the 200,000 of people, but right now more than 1 million registered, but how many who are not registered yet? Yeah. And if so, how to do? For us, we just afraid, because we will face some issues to be solved. And right now, many of them just came back home, and because they left home for many years, sometimes they left behind their home and sold already. And once they come back, where are their home? And what are the burden of the sending country? Once they are working here, they earn money, but they also have to spend money here as well. And once they left behind their children, who are the what we call caretaker, of the children. And once they bring the children along, who are take care of them as well, and they will do not have enough time or do not have the opportunity to get school. And once they can register at school, they also learn with the Thai program, educational program. And once they come back, they still the one who cannot communicate with their community. So I can say that until now, we do not find yet the very good solution or the what we call the best solution to solve this problem, because the issue become bigger and bigger. And the impact later on, the sending country like us, we do not gain anything. I can give you example. Right now, we provide them some legal document, and I think it's not enough because they have only the passport, they have only the stay permit or work permit or something, but they do not have any contract. with the company who are recruiting them for working with them. So we do not know how they can apply their rights, work rights or something. But at the meantime, we also expect that they become old, they become a disabled person, and they will be back home or deported home or sent back home or return home. That's the burden, because they lost of everything there. They try, to move away from their property because they just expect that once they are working here, they will earn, they will gain, benefit, for their family life. But I think that contrary, once they come back, we meet many of them. They do not have what we call some improvement, for their living condition. And until now, I can say that the situation is better than before because they do not hide themselves from the police. They can work publicly and they can communicate with the other. But if we do not have a good management, the newcomer will come, and for the one who terminate their document also have to be re-registered. So the process, still be continued. And we as the sending country, we cannot, just manage our people and cannot educate them or ban them to do not cross the border illegally to come here because they just expect or they just hope that once they cross the border, they will have the document here. Yeah, they will have the document here. So I don't know how to collaborate with each other because here it's a solution for the destination country. But for us as the sending country, we also have our own issue face. Yeah. So I think that the discussion or the collaboration between the two countries is very important, and we need a fair share for responsibility of the sending country and the receiving country. And for the policy, I think that until now it's only the temporary policy. It's not the solution yet. It's not the solution yet. We still need some more review or some more creative, or sometimes we just think about something terminated, the time for terminated, and we restart to do something, but I don't know how yet. That is why we still, as the sending country, still need to discuss with the receiving country and have to find the better solution, for both sides, and cannot just solve for the destination country and ignore the sending country, or we just think about sending country and not think about the destination country. And we cannot do anything. I can say that the receiving country, the sending country like us, cannot do anything if we do not have the common solution together. Yeah. Thank you very much, and I think that maybe we can discuss later.
Thank you for the very frank presentation, which normally we don't hear from such high-level official. But now we go to the next speaker, also from Cambodia, Livi Chuta. She has worked for many years. Sorry for the pronunciation, but she has worked for many years in Cambodia on this issue as well as women's rights and children's rights. So please.
Thank you.
About 10 minutes.
Yeah, thank you very much. First of all, I want to congratulate to professor who conduct the research. Yes, it's many meaning on that, and especially on the regulation and law that have been analyzed. To add on this, I have 4 points that I want to maybe include. We we know that the average raising tool is a big tool that to regularize the migrant, and at the same time to combat human trafficking. However, what is lacking here is we are not working with employer, because for many years I work on this and I have discussed a lot with the employer, and some employer don't know what is the impact of hiding irregular migrant, or how put in at risk to the migrant as an employee. I heard from different employer and from the government at the same time the procedure, and some employer, many employer, not only some, but many employer have informed that taking irregular migration, irregular migrant is more faster, cheaper, and more trust. But they are not aware about how is the risk to the migrant to be exploited or to be trafficking. Trafficking is not only at the destination, but it's starting from the beginning to the end. And this the employer was not aware about that, most of them. So my suggestion that maybe both government should take also action to talk, to work closely with the employer to inform about the regulation, the law, and what is the risk to the migrant. The second point, migrant itself, we need to go provide more. Now I know that the government have done and continue to do it, and the NGO also have worked on this about average raising information and about safe migration, etc. But some country, particularly like the professor have mentioned, Thailand have the regulation just come out, and the migrant didn't know about that. I just give an example, very simple and very sometimes make me a bit laugh. When they arrive here, the employer want to register them, to regularize them, but ask the name, Cambodian name, Thai name, maybe Cambodian is difficult to spell, so take the name, whatever easy called by the employer, and register it as the migrant worker. And then from the migrant itself, when they try to regularize with a Cambodian side, with the ID card, everything, the name is different. So difficult to control it, both countries, Thailand and Cambodia. It's very difficult to manage it, the migrant. And this also may put a risk of trafficking exploitation. Yeah. The third point, I agree with Professor and also Her Excellency talking about the community, the CBO. It's very important, not only the dissemination information about the CBO, but also have the children or maybe created or establish informal education. Like Excellency mentioned, the migrant come maybe for 2 or 4 years. The children born here or come with the parent, and after that they have to return to Cambodia. They don't speak maybe Khmer, they don't read. Another problem, if they want to obtain the citizen, Thai citizen, they have to go to university. But as I understand, it's difficult to migrant for the children of migrant to go more forward. So, established CBO is very important at the destination country of which receive the migrant. Also, establish informal school will be a lot helpful. I know that the Vietnamese have done some. I have visited some community, and it's well, prepared. And I believe that the Cambodian maybe also both government have to think about it, and not only the government but also the NGO. And the fourth point, I will focus on the monitoring recruitment agency should be in place, the system. For the sending country or also for the destination country, because that make more the migrant trust the recruitment agency if we go through the MOU process. Because now, like the professor mentioned also on the research, that the migrant entrust the agency. Maybe cost expensive, maybe take too long, but lack of information, not well monitoring that Even me, I'm maybe not very educated, but I'm educated. I'm not sure I will trust it because I'm not sure how the process is going on. What happened if the recruitment agency was informal or illegal? What I'm going to do? Where I'm going to complain? And what happened to me? I lost a lot of money, And when I arrived in Thailand, also I met some migrants. They said, okay, but been sent by recruitment from origin country, and I arrived here. Had to wait to get a new job, and the job was not ready. And sometimes they will have to work as a irregular one and been arrested for illegal entry. So monitoring the recruitment agency has to be in place, and if already in place, should be more implemented properly. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Sorry. I see. I don't want to take more time. Maybe later on. Yeah. Thank you very much for this. Thank you.
Quite clear points. So now we go to the Thai side. We have Sampong Rakeo from the Labor Rights Promotion Network. We are pleased to have him quite often these days. So please go ahead. And we will have a translator to translate for us.
Good evening everyone สวัสดีครับจำเป็นซัวขออนุญาตพูดภาษาไทยนะครับก็สวัสดีทุกท่านนะครับวันนี้ดีใจที่มีโอกาสได้มาพูดคุยและเปลี่ยนทุกท่านฟังครับ
Good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here today. I'm so happy to be able to share and discuss the topic that we're going to talk about today.
สิ่งที่เราพูดวันนี้นะฮะแล้วก็จะมีการประชุม International Conference พวกนี้น่าจะมีความหมายสำหรับแรงงานชาวกัมพูชาในประเทศไทย
So what we are going to talk about today and then so on the conference that's going to happen tomorrow, it's going to be a big things for Cambodians and Thai.
เชื่อไหมครับว่าประมาณ10 กว่าปีมาแล้วเนี่ยการพูดคุยประเด็นกัมพูชาในประเทศไทยมีน้อยมากและไม่ค่อยหยิบประเด็นปัญหาออกมาพูดกันอย่างจริงจังก็ถือว่าวันนี้และวันพรุ่งนี้ก็น่าจะเป็นสิ่งที่ดีที่จะพูดถึงประเด็นปัญหาของชาวกัมพูชาในประเทศไทยอย่างจริงจังมากขึ้นแล้วก็เป็นที่รับรู้ในสังคมไทยว่าเราจะมาช่วยกันแก้ไขปัญหาได้อย่างไรครับ
Over the past 10 years, there were not many conversations. We're talking about Thai and Cambodia in terms of migrant worker. So I hope that the conversation that we're going to talk about today, and including tomorrow, will be the open doors for everyone to think about it. And I hope that this issue will be heard for people in the societies, and everyone will pay attention, and everyone will think about this issue.
ที่ผ่านมาผมก็พูดประเด็นเรื่องของชาวเมียนมาไม่น้อยทีเดียวนะครับแล้วก็วันนี้เราจะพยายามที่จะเปิดประเด็นแรงงานกัมพูชาในประเทศไทยมากขึ้นเป็นที่รับรู้มากขึ้นนะครับแล้วก็ต้องขอบคุณทาง GVC ที่ให้ทางเราทำงานที่จะเปิดประเด็นเกี่ยวกับกลุ่มประชากรข้ามชาติชาวกัมพูชาในประเทศไทยครับ
I've been talking a lot about Myanmar migrant workers, and this is the great opportunity for me to talk about Cambodian workers. Thank you for CVC for giving me a great opportunity to make a start in my communities and to talk about the issue.
ท่านเชื่อไหมครับว่าแรงงานกัมพูชาในประเทศไทยหนึ่งละอาจจะประสบปัญหาเป็นวิธีเป็นเหยื่อของการค้ามนุษย์ทั้งในเรือประมงหรือในสถานประกอบการอื่นๆ
So many migrant workers, many Cambodians migrant workers in Thailand are also victims of human trafficking, especially for those who are working on the fishing boat or the manufacturing.
ใน3 ปีที่ผ่านมาคือปี 2015 จนถึงปัจจุบันเนี่ยเรามีเคสค้ามนุษย์ที่เป็นชาวกัมพูชาเนี่ยจำนวน83 คนที่ทาง LPN ทำงานแล้วก็ไปช่วยเหลือแล้วก็ประสานงานกับหน่วยงานภาครัฐ
For the last 3 years, since 2015, LPN had worked with 83 cases of victims of human trafficking.
ใน ใน83คนเนี่ยนะฮะประมาณอย่างน้อย2คนที่เราดูแลเป็นลูกเลยจากอินโดนีเซียกลับมาจากประเทศไทยแล้วกลับไปก็บินจากอินโดนีเซียเข้าที่กัมพูชานะฮะทางการกัมพูชาก็คัดแยกว่าเป็นผู้เสียหายเกิดจากการถูกค้ามนุษย์เสร็จแล้วทางเราก็ประสานงานกับทาง DSI เพื่อที่จะให้เข้ามาดำเนินการในประเทศไทยแต่พอกลับมาประเทศไทยมีการคัดแยกผู้เสียหายแล้วก็ไม่เข้าค้ามนุษย์
There were 2 cases out of the 83 cases that we worked with. We found that they are victims of human trafficking. They are Indonesian migrant workers, and we were helping them and refer them, so they came back through Cambodia. And Cambodian also identified them as a victim of human trafficking. And the Cambodian government helped them to be able to repatriate back to Thailand. But once they come back to Thailand and they go through the victim identification process, they say that these 2 cases are not victim of human trafficking.
อันนี้ก็เป็นประเด็นหนึ่งที่เราจะพัฒนาความร่วมมือที่จะทำความเข้าใจตรงกัน หรือว่าแปลความเกี่ยวข้องกับเรื่องกฎหมายค้ามนุษย์ให้ไปด้วยกันได้ยังไงแล้วก็สูงสุดก็คือเคสผู้เสียหายเนี่ยได้รับการปกป้องคุ้มครอง
So this is the only examples of why the conversation about Cambodian migrant workers are very important. And this is why we all need to help and make a common solution. And you also mentioned that, sorry, I missed the next part.
ก็เราอาจจะต้องมาดูเรื่องของตัวกฎหมายเพิ่มเติมครับ
And this is why the law implementation and policy need to be put in place.
ประเด็นที่2นะครับก็ท่านเชื่อไหมว่าคนกัมพูชาในประเทศไทยมีประมาณ1 ล้านกว่าคนเผลอๆเหยียบ2 ล้านแต่ว่าในฐานทะเบียนจดทะเบียนแรงงานเนี่ยตัวเลขประมาณ700,000 คนแต่เวลาจดทะเบียนทีหนึ่งเนี่ยซึ่งมันจะมีติดขัดไปถึงเรื่องของการพิสูจน์สัญชาติเนี่ยเผลอๆอาจจะไม่ถึง700,000อาจจะหล่นมาแค่5เพราะนั้นยังมีแรงงานจำนวนมากกระจายอยู่ซึ่งรัฐบาลไทยพยายามที่จะบอกว่าถ้าใครไม่มีเอกสารเนี่ยโทษหนักจับปรับส่งกลับอะไรพวกนี้แต่ว่าสุดท้ายจริงๆเนี่ยนะครับอย่างที่ผู้ร่วมพูดถึงว่าสุดท้ายจริงฉันก็ไม่มีบ้านอยู่ที่กัมพูชาแล้วต้องอยู่เมืองไทยอยู่ให้ได้แล้วอยู่ได้ยังไง
So there are over 1 million Cambodian workers in Thailand. He believes that the number is getting higher and probably close to 2 million, but there's only 700,000 migrant workers are registered. And if you're talking about the nationality process, the nationality identification process, the number that they're identified as Cambodian worker might be even less. And then as she mentioned that. Once they come to Thailand, they already sold their house, they already sold their land, they no longer have a place to go back to Cambodia. So they need to be able to make a living here. But how? How can they make a living here without any support?
เพราะนั้นการที่เขาอยู่ได้ปัจจุบันเนี่ยมันต้องมีระบบกลไกอะไรบางอย่างที่ซัพพอร์ตที่จะดูแลเขาและรวมถึงการดูแลตนเองให้อยู่รอดแล้วก็ทำงานแล้วก็ที่มีเงินเก็บไอ้นี้ก็อาจจะเป็นเรื่องของการจัดการอาจจะเป็นนายจ้างก็ดูแลจัดการอาจจะมีระบบสวยใต้โต๊ะอะไรก็มันอาจจะมีแน่นอน
So this is why they need to have some support to be able to make a living here. But then the support can be both on positive and negative. Then where we are talking about the legal support or even the bribe that they pay under the table.
แล้วคนที่จะเข้ามาเมืองไทยนะครับก็อย่างที่ผมเคยคุยกับพี่น้องชาวกัมพูชาเนี่ยนะครับกลุ่มที่เป็นวัยรุ่นก็เข้ามาไม่น้อยทีเดียวเนื่องจากว่าเรื่องของความขาดแคลนเรื่องรายได้ต่างๆก็เข้ามาเมืองไทยแต่ว่าต้นทุนการเข้ามาของชาวกัมพูชาเปรียบเทียบกับพม่าเนี่ยชาวกัมพูชาสูงกว่าประมาณ2 หรือ 3 เท่าตัวเพราะฉะนั้นต้นทุนในการเข้ามาในเมืองไทยสูงมากอาจจะผ่านระบบโบรกเกอร์และผ่านเอเจนซี่หรือผ่านระบบ MOU เข้ามาโดยตรง
And then when we were thinking about the numbers of Cambodian people who have moved to Thailand, we found that the age is also getting younger. We found a lot of teenagers, Cambodians who moved to Thailand. Of course, that because of the financial situation or they're seeking for the better opportunity. But then when we talk about what are the costs that they pay, we found that the cost that Cambodian workers pay to the broker are higher compared to people from like Burmese migrant worker. Like it's almost twice higher compared to the Burmese worker.
จึงไม่แปลกใช่ไหมว่าแรงงานกัมพูชาเนี่ยอย่างน้อยมีหนี้สินมากกว่า 50% แล้วติดตัวมีหนี้สินติดตัวคือมีหนี้คือไม่มีอะไรก็โบรกเกอร์ก็นำมานะครับแล้วก็การแสวงประโยชน์ก็จะมีหลายรูปแบบที่ประมาณเมืองไทยหรือตกลงว่าจะพาไปโรงงานนี้แต่สุดท้ายไปอีกที่หนึ่งอันนี้เป็นเรื่องปกติเลยนะครับ
So this is why over 50% of Cambodian workers, they're ending up in debt bondage. When they come to Thailand, they have to work to be able to pay back the workers the debt that they pay. And then there was a lot of things happen, like they were promised to work in one factory, but then they end up in a different industry or different factories, and they didn't get the job as they promised.
ก็เลยมีบางบริษัทที่เอาเปรียบแรงงานก็ไปทำพาสปอร์ตท่องเที่ยวธรรมดาทั่วไปมาแค่15 วันเดี๋ยวจะบอกว่าเนี่ยมาแบบโดยตรงเสร็จแล้วก็เอาไปให้ไปสถานประกอบการโรงงานทำงานนะครับแรงงานไม่รู้หรอกนะแต่เขาก็อยู่ไปถ้าเผื่อว่าเจอสถานประกอบการที่แย่ๆหน่อยก็คือเขาอาจจะถูกฟอร์สหรือว่าถูกกดขี่แรงงานแล้วจนเข้าขายเป็นค้ามนุษย์
That is why a lot of them are easily exploited. For example, the brokers will help them to get only 15 days tourist visa to come to Thailand. But then at the end, they were told like this is the legal process that you can get a work in Thailand. But when they're ending up working in the middle of nowhere, I need help and I was in the middle of the farm or agriculture or something, please help me. So this is why there's only the examples that LPN has faced with, and this is why we need to talk about it.
ครับก็ภายหลังจากที่มีการเข้มงวดหลังจากจดทะเบียนมีการเข้มงวดตรวจตราแล้วเนี่ยโดยเฉพาะภาคประมงแรงงานลูกเรือประมงนี้ก็ประสบปัญหาก็คือบางส่วนก็คือพอไม่มีเอกสารอาจจะต้องกลับบ้านนะครับอาจจะต้องกลับบ้านแต่ว่าบางทีแม่และลูกก็ยังอยู่ที่เมืองไทยไม่สามารถกลับได้อย่างนี้ฮะก็อาจจะทำให้ปัญหาเรื่องของการเรียกว่าเรื่องครอบครัวมีสูงเรื่องครอบครัวอบอุ่นนะ
And the other example would be after the restriction from MOU, a lot of them might be arrested and deported back to the sending country, but then while they still have their wives, their kids remaining in Thailand. So this is another thing that we have to think about.
ประเทศไทยพูดถึงเรื่องของแรงงานเด็กบอกว่าวันนี้แรงงานเด็กในอุตสาหกรรมพวกแปรรูปสัตว์น้ำซีฟู้ดเริ่มหายไปแต่อาจจะมองไปเป้าไปที่ทางฝั่งพม่าแต่ลืมมองไปทางฝั่งกัมพูชาวันนี้ปรากฏการณ์ทางภาคตะวันออกนะฮะชลบุรีระยองจันทราเนี่ยเราก็ยังพอเห็นภาพปรากฏว่ามีเด็กทำงานบนฝั่งคัดแยกปลาคัดปลาอะไรต่างๆเนี่ยปลาอยู่นะฮะซึ่งตรงเนี้ยก็จะเป็นประเด็นที่ทำไมทางเรา RPN กับ Plan International กับ GVC จะต้องมาทำงานเพื่อแก้ไขปัญหาแล้วก็ในช่วง3 ปีที่ผ่านมาเนี่ยทาง RPN ก็สามารถช่วยเด็กเหล่านี้นะครับที่ยังไม่ได้เรียนหนังสือที่ไปทำงานกับพ่อแม่เราไปชักจูงเพื่อที่ให้มาเรียนหนังสือเนี่ยตอนนี้ที่จังหวัดตราดอำเภอคลองใหญ่นะครับแล้วก็อำเภอเมืองจังหวัดระยองมีเด็กที่เราสามารถเข้าถึงในการแก้ไขปัญหาเราได้จำนวน400 คน
And then the other issue would be the child labor. Even when we talk about the child labor, a lot of people are thinking of Burmese migrant workers where the child is coming along with their parents. But then there's a lot of Cambodian kids that coming with the parents as well. And a lot of them are coming with their parents and they work in the manufacturing. And this is the issue that you still find in the east of Thailand, for example, Rayong, Rat, or Chonburi. And with the program that LPN has, LPN be able to help 400 kids to help them to get back to school.
และมีอีกประมาณอย่างน้อยประมาณเกือบ100 คนที่เราดูแลเด็กอยู่ในศูนย์ของหรือในแคมป์ก่อสร้างที่เป็นลูกหลานชาวกัมพูชาที่เราส่งเด็ก
And this is why it's still remaining as a challenge for LPN as well as everyone's here who can help.
Last but not least, Enza Di Oro, gruppo di volontariato civile, GVC, yeah, so our partner in this event.
Okay, thank you. I will just share our experience as a GVC. GVC has been working on migration-related issues since 2014. We start in 2 provinces. Today we are working in 7 provinces in Cambodia. Provinces that are bordering to Thailand, also provinces that are transit. And so from what we have observed until now, that again we have to say that still the majority of people prefer, also it was mentioned from the professor and from the other, they are preferring to cross the border, in a irregular way. So I think what we have to ask ourselves is why. Apart from the problem related to timing, consuming for the documentation, costly, I think also that what is very important is also to build the trust of people. And as a GVC, the way we are working, we work at community level. We work in villages where also for people to have access to the information is very difficult. You should consider that sometimes we're speaking about people with a very low education. This is also another problem. So it's very easy for brokers to attract those people and to travel in a regular way. Sometimes also some media, they are not useful. Sometimes also there are some announcements, radio, Facebook, that give wrong information to people. So for us, what we are doing is, as I was saying, working at community level, where we try to create a stakeholder dialogue, basically to put together village chief, commune, migrant, representative of the civil society, teachers, and to be together, because we consider that it's very important to build a community level some kind of self-protection mechanism, because this is also can make the program sustainable. In relation to the finding of the research, I think it was very interesting also that the research found that there are so many gray zones in the law. And I hope also this is a very good opportunity for us as, let's say, sending and receiving country to discuss how we can make more, I would like to say simple, some law. For example, there are no, the problem that I think that something we should address is related to standardize the prices for the liquidity. So sometimes that people that enter, let's say illegally, after a while they can end up in a situation of to be irregular. And this is also because I think that there is no clear interpretation or instruction in the law. So this is also our expectation that this dialogue that started will also contribute to, to be more clear in the application of the law. This event also gives us the opportunity to approach the migration and the human trafficking issue. Because migration is a cycle composed of 3 steps basically. There is the pre-departure, there is also when people arrive, and there is also the return. So I think that to approach this problem should be with this vision, not just, let's say, also what the excellency was mentioning before. So this is really a good opportunity for us, and we have, let's say, a lot of expectation in this day that we are discussing with also with the Thai civil society, the Thai authority. So this is just from my consideration. I know that we are maybe
we want to give enough time for discussion, so we should mention indeed that tomorrow and after tomorrow there are 2 full days of discussion between Cambodia and Thai delegation. So there will be first an international conference in which both parties participate, and then the day after a workshop. So there will be also the Thai high-level delegation as well as NGO, UN agency, and many other stakeholders. So let's start tomorrow. So today is a good start to the discussion. So please, I open the floor for the first 3 questions. 1, 2, one more? 1, 2. Okay, we start with this one first.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me? My name is Pisawak Sukonapan from Mekong Regional Center. I'm from Thailand, but I work for the regional NGO. Excellency, may I ask you? I would like to know how closely you work with the Thai government, especially the labor ministry, because you're talking about labor rights, migration, and also about human trafficking. I think I've seen you before, and so I would like to know about this. And I've heard about education issues. Have you ever raised the issue with the Thai education ministry? And before I forgot, I heard that the Bangkok Administration Bureau, they also provide kind of education for children of migrant workers. I think if you can explore and get benefit from that project, it will be very good. And also, I would like to ask about Deborah. Are you going to think about the first lady? She talked about status. When your people, I think people from Cambodia are here to work, but I think they still have good link with Cambodia, and why they want to have Thai nationality. Because your embassy should be able to give or to kind of issue identification document for them. Thank you very much.
Okay, second question, yes, please. No, yes, yes.
I would like to ask.
Please use the microphone because this is being all live on Facebook.
Hi, I'm Roy Sai, I'm research consultant. I would like to ask GBC to, when you mentioned that there is a gray zone, based on your research about the law definition of whatever area, would you mind to elaborate more in detail, and especially the law that may not respond to the current change situation. I think there are intense change in the past year. Thank you.
Okay, any more questions for this round? No? Okay, so please, Her Excellency.
Yeah, thank you very much for your interest, and I just would like to say that Cambodian people, where they are still Cambodian people. But because they are here and they do not return home, how to apply our law, our nation law, for them in another country. That is why I don't think that they are stateless or not, but they still do not have the place where they are, because here is not their own country, and at home they do not have anything to live, because they spend almost everything, because they just hope that they can work or earn here for many years. And we found many migrants just left home more than 10 years already. Yeah. And we found, we met with one lady, they bring 2 or 3 children back home because at the time of restriction, they are deported. And they said that, how to do, because once I came to Thailand, I'm alone. And I left behind my property already. And now I have 3 children, and do not have any home. So once I go back home, how to live, But for our country, our government do not let them behind. But I said that this is the burden of the sending country. because they will be back. For example, here we need them 1 million of workers. Among the 1 million, there are the newcomer and the returnee. They still keep the number 1 million. But the returnee, just go back home and they just come the newcomer who are stronger, something like that. But the burden is there, is the sending country, because we cannot let them behind because they are our citizens. Yeah, that's what I want to say so far. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for the statement. Stop. I totally agree. If the parent is Cambodian, the child should be Cambodian. But like Excellence mentioned, it's still Cambodian. The problem is the paper. They are born in Thailand, and they don't know the process. How the process claim their child as a Cambodian first. Second, the child grow up here speak Thai language. So make those people confused, are they Thai or are they Cambodian? I agree with you, that is one thing that we should look on. But like mentioned, the law, the jurisdiction, still, if you're outside country, we need more expand and work together. Thank also for the education. If we can establish informal education that learn Khmer, write Khmer, and when they return, they can attend the school. Because right now, if they learn Thai, they return to Cambodia, it's very difficult for the child to adapt both countries, completely different education. Thank you.
Okay. I will leave now to Elsa.
Okay, I can make just some example. For example, when we talk about there are two professions that the migrant they cannot work, which are domestic worker, and also labor. But we know that majority, and this is also the concept of general labor, it's really not clear. So sometimes there is an advantage. Who is a general labor? All the community where we work, majority of the Cambodia are doing general labor. They're working at DS, in agriculture, doing this kind of manual work. But then, what is there? Because for us, what is important is the protection of the migrant worker. Because what we can see is that, of course, in the law there is a lot of emphasis on the regulation, of the application, but we should also consider, let's say, the protection of the worker and also what is the cost of the migration for this worker. So this is an example about the concept in general labor. Another thing is also about the change of employer. This is something that is still not clear for us, and sometimes also to give an answer to the people is very difficult for us. Because sometimes it seems that now it is possible to change employer, but then it seems that it's not the situation. So these are just some examples that when I was speaking before about to build the trust, also if we are not able to give a precise answer to people, this also affects our credibility. See, this is also an example. I don't know if
Keiko, maybe Keiko can add first about the result of the study. What are the gray area?
Maybe it's not like, I don't know whether we should call it a gray area or application problem of the law, because for example, the changing of jobs. Yeah, so the law, it says that you can't change, but you have to prove, you have to do this, you have to do that, and then so it makes it very difficult. Practically not possible. Yeah, so you have a law, but which is not implemented, which it's not implementable. Yeah, and then it's so maybe that's what we say like gray, or like I mean why do you have a law if you cannot use it at all? Yeah, so that's why if we have a law, you have to be usable. Like confiscation of document. Yeah, so you're going to get fined if you confiscate document from the workers. Yeah, but then okay, how are you going to know that? Yeah, how are you going to catch them? Yeah, I mean, there's no political will in doing that, and there's no point to have a law for that. Yeah, so if you have a law, it has to be implementable. So without any implementation mechanism, it's a law without not being able to use at all. Yeah, well, like cost. Yeah, cost for traffic, cost for migration. In the Cambodian law, it's already the price is already written. Yeah, but nobody follows. Yeah, again, yeah, why do you have it when you have it? Yeah, so it's already, the number is already there. It's already clear, but it's not, nobody uses that. Or like child trafficking. Yeah, so child trafficking, yes, children trafficking, yeah, children should not be trafficked. Yeah, so we always have a law. Yeah, but then of course, anyway, we do not think about the children. The children would not say that my father has sold me here and there. Yeah, that's my father. Yeah, so, but then the law does not really take that into consideration. You have to be coerced. Yeah, but then if you're not coerced, you just kind of feel that you're obliged to do that, and then you're not a traffic victim. And then so that's again another loophole. Yeah, that a gray, we can call it a gray area. Yeah, that the law is pretending to be there to protect you, but actually it's not working.
So, a law that is implementable with a lot of gray areas, but why we are not challenging the old system of registration? That is what I am interested. So this is my question for, especially for Excellency Choguneng. Is this system implementable? Yeah, I open again the floor, but this is my own question. So please, 3 more questions. You cannot believe there are no questions. Yes, we take advantage also and the honor to have a representative of the Ministry of Labor. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you. I'm Nara
From Cambodia.
Of Cambodia. First of all, I would like to thank Professor Choko for your finding. And I would like to know about for your figure, first slide, you mentioned about the number of traffic person. You mean that if this number is among the, you can say that it is related to the regular migration or undocumented migration? Trafficking with, yeah. But it means that it's related to undocumented migrant or the regular migration. I mean that.
So it's not about undocumented migrants or documented migrants. It's the trafficking victims. So that's why you also have Thai.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Thais are also trafficking victims.
So that what I want to is we can compare that with, for example, in 2015 or 2016. How many how many undocumented Cambodian migrant workers in Thailand, and if you compare with this number of traffic victims, and it is related to the movement of people. I mean that in terms of employment, looking for employment, so that they fall into the trafficking. So that we can say that the cost of traffic person from labor, from employment, or from other reasons that they fall in the trafficking. So that we can understand, if we know the cost, we can look find the best solution or how to prevent this in future. What the reason of this traffic person from employment, from smuggling, trafficking, yes, I guess.
You don't have to be.
Yeah, that's right. So that if the number of traffic person is, I mean that among the irregular migration, they can understand how the cost of the program and can try to resolve the problem. And one more thing that related to the recommendation to the Thai side. Yeah. As you mentioned for the Thai ordinance in 2017, that we can try to punish more severe to the employer or the worker, undocumented, than try to use the undocumented person. Mean that to punish with the fine for 800,000 for employer, 100,000 for worker. And in 2018, the Thai government tried to reduce this punishment. So that it is really for you, for as a researcher, it's good policy that to stop or to reduce the irregular migration. Mean that when the Thai government implemented the severe punishment to both employer and undocumented, you see the number is still increased every weekend. The number of undocumented migrants that register, come to register with authorities, still the number is increased. But when they implement this amendment, what do you think? The number is decreased or increased? Yeah. And one more thing, it is also related to the law enforcement in both sides, sending and receiving. If the law enforcement in Thailand, that like they implement this properly, the ordinance that punishes with the 800,000 imprisonment. So you can say that the number, you can expect that the number of actual undocumented migrant workers will be reduced. But so that and also so that one more that related to the recommendation, I would like to suggest that law enforcement patient in the website which employer is still continue to use the undocumented migrant worker. If there are no inspection, no law enforcement, just by law, but no inspection, no exact mechanism, no enforcement, we cannot stop this flow. Thank you.
Okay, please.
My name is Mary Grimwade. I work for the International Organization for Migration, IOM. Thank you for the very interesting discussion. This question is for Professor Kyoko. So we've heard a lot about the challenges and gaps identified in the current Thailand-Cambodia migration management in terms of legislation and the implementation of those laws. What I'm interested in knowing is if this study has also included a focus on identifying the positive impacts of migration in terms of the sustainable development and poverty reduction in countries of origin. So basically what migration has done for Cambodia in a positive sense. Thank you.
Okay, first one. Oh, Margarita.
Thank you also for the question before. Hello. Because to alive also this aspect and maybe could say that okay because we see this word because okay. Hello. Because
just click.
Okay. Because GBC has used to work also for in the field of remittances, for example, the use of remittances, and we have done research in Cambodia with to understand what does it mean in terms of impact the migration. And for example, in 500 feminist households in the rural area, the 30% of them reduce food insecurity. and more than 25% reduce high poverty. So then there is an impact, this is huge impact of migration, even though there is also huge impact of human cost. So we just show one exhibition, photographic exhibition called Human Cost. We think that is the best name for these kind of problems. But migration, according to us, is a phenomenon that should be managed taking into consideration the cost and the positive impact. So then also because and the causes why people migrate. Otherwise it's very difficult to find solution because we do not tackle the origin of the phenomena. So then my question starting from this point is that first of all which kind of cooperation, especially in Cambodia for management of migration, taking in consideration all the different aspects of migration, is there among different ministries relating to the also development, human security, trafficking, and whatever, and how this could be supported also from the work of other stakeholders, for example NGOs with support can provide in this situation.
There is one more Cambodian. Please introduce yourself in the back. Yes, you.
So I do not think my...
Introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Junction from Cambodia. I think following your question, that is how we can challenge the old system. I think for the Cambodian system or national orientation system, I think the problem is most of the states try to build a system based on the security approach. They never care about the rights of the migrant workers. I think this is something that we should remind that when the policy law has been developed, the consultation with the most vulnerable group, the consultation with the migrant workers has already done. So how the government solve the problem when the people who has problem never consult, when the people who encounter any problem never discuss, and how the solution can be made. So I think the current system at the moment is more concerned on the security rather than from the right of the migrant workers. I think this is only my suggestion. I think if we continue the security approach like this, the issue of migrant workers never addressed easily. That this is something we need to do with the migrant, we need to consult with the migrant, we need to empower with the migrant. That this is something I hope that the new system with the right-based approach system maybe can be addressed.
I should invite you for the 11th to participate in the panel of securitization of migration, because exactly what you are saying is the focus of that panel, whether security goes the precedence compared to protection of migrants in this region at least. Okay, go back to the panel, please.
Yeah, thank you so much. I just would like to let you know about the effort of the government. If we talk about the economic reason, we recognize that the Cambodian people or our citizens is still at the lower income, as compared with the other country. And the one who want to migrate away because they just hope, that at the destination country they can earn more than something they can earn in the country. But our government also try their best to promote the living condition of the people as well as the workers who are working at the factories or at the other or many businesses in Cambodia. But we can say that we provide them freedom for make decision, and they can what we call earn their money anywhere. But what we try, to solve this problem, because once they migrate away, they are not the one who are respect, only our own law. And like I said earlier, that different country, they have to apply different law, different policies, or they have to have the good communication or good language. So right now, many migrants, they have this problem because they cannot, even they have some issues or problem, they do not know how to tell or how to discuss with the people who can assist them. That's what we are concerning, and for the one who are victimized so far, some of them we found that they come from the documented person and some from the undocumented person, but they are become undocumented once they left behind their company. The first recruitment is from the agency, the legal agency. But once they come here, sometimes they want to change their job, and they left behind the employer. Then the passport is not with them. They are become the undocumented person, and they are it's easily to be exploited or to be cheated, and they have become undocumented person. And we found them among the seafarers so far because they use the seaman book, and the seaman book changed their identity. We rescue them from Indonesia by the Thai fishing boat. More than 300 person in 2015. They use the cement book and their name are Thai already. That's what they face the problem. They can exploit them, or they can what we call traffic them, and they become victims. Yeah. So what I would like to explain about the victimized by the process.
Thank you very much for this very inspiring question. First of all, for the IOM person's question, this study is about the legal legislations and laws and regulation studies. So we did not really look at either the negative or positive effects of migration. So that was not this report. So it was out of scope. So sorry about that. For this minister, thank you very much for the question, because I think these are very, very important questions. First of all, about the victim, the trafficking victim. I totally agree with you that yes, we do definitely need to know why is it, the cause of being trafficked. But at the same time, these figures, we have to really be very careful, because these people are kind of rescued. Many people are rescued, and then they have 24 hours to identify whether they are victims or not. These people who are in this chart are people who have been identified as victims. Once you identify as victims, and then you get the shelter, you get the support, you get the training, you get to go back. So you get a lot of support because you will be under the anti-trafficking law and all the other support. However, if you're not going to be identified as a victim, and then you suddenly become an undocumented labor migrant who are criminalized and deported without any support or anything. So that the difference between whether you're going to be identified as a trafficking victim or not is quite big. So this is actually actually also a problem because it's not only the cause of migration being trafficked, but then the numbers is also quite arbitrarily being classified because some people for some reason they are not really identified as victims but become undocumented workers and deported as such. So that is one thing that I want to highlight, although I do agree that we have to really look into the cause of the migration or the trafficking. And also, we also want to highlight that those people who are easier trafficking victims are people who escaped from their former workplace because they could not change the workplace legally. So that's why they just escape if they don't like the employer. Now, these escapees becomes more vulnerable to trafficking. So that is being identified by ILO study. So we also want to highlight this importance of really becoming easier for them to have documents and also easier to change job is quite important. So that's one thing. The other thing is about the 2018. Now the penalty have gone down, whether this is effective or not. But one very good thing is that the jail term for workers have been abolished in the 2018 amendment. This is very important because that before they were going to be put in jail for not having documents. I mean that is not really like understanding what the situation of the migrant workers. Yes, but that has been abolished and that is a very big, very important improvement. So that's one thing. Of course, the amount before was very high. I mean, it's too high a fine. Also would invite more bribes and not being really implementable because people would pretend to pay bribes rather than pay the fine if the fine is too large. Yeah. So in that sense, having too large fine is not very good because that will increase bribes more than anything else. So in that sense, coming down to a more realistic amount is a good sign as well. But then whether this kind of law enforcement decreases undocumented migrants or not is another question. But then what is important to know that is that many of these laws actually are trying to protect workers, and the intention is to protect workers. Like now that the document should not be confiscated, you should be able to change jobs, and so they are trying to some extent protect the workers. So if the protection is done, this kind of laws is implemented and the workers are protected. If that actually happens, and of course the workers want to be documented, because nobody wants to be undocumented. It's just that the merit of being documented might not be as high as being undocumented because you don't really get protected by being documented. So that's why implementation of these laws that has an intention to protect the workers is very important because that kind of protection will lead to more and more people being documented.
ประเด็นเล็กน้อยประเด็นที่หนึ่งเนี่ยนะครับนโยบายของรัฐบาลในช่วงประมาณ 2-3 ปีถือว่ามีกฎหมายใหม่มีกฎกระทรวงออกมาบังคับทั้งนายจ้างเองต้องปรับตัวสูงในการที่จะอยู่ให้ได้อย่างเช่นกรณีเรื่องประมงแล้วก็เรื่องของกฎกระทรวงที่เกี่ยวข้องกับเรื่องเกี่ยวข้องอายุต่ำกว่า18 ปีทำงานบนเรือไม่ได้หรือผู้แปรรูปสัตว์น้ำอะไรไม่ได้เนี่ยก็ถือว่านายจ้างเองเนี่ยก็ถ้าไม่ปรับตัวอยู่ไม่ได้และหลายกิจการคือหลงไปเพราะว่าอาจจะสู้เรื่องของสายการเรื่องเศรษฐกิจไม่ได้
So he want to add up about the law reinforcement and legislation in Thailand. So lately, for the last 2 years, there have been some adjustment according to the legislation. And then here is a mention like there's more implementation into the employer. The employer has to be able to adjust themselves and according to the new law, because to be able to run their business, they need to follow the law and be able to. So this is the impact that we can see in the last couple of years.
ตัวพรบพระราชกำหนดการบริหารการทำงานของคนต่างด้าวเนี่ยที่ก่อนหน้านี้เมื่อประมาณครึ่งปีที่แล้วเนี่ยที่จะมีการประกาศใช้ก็ทำให้แรงงานกลัวโดนจับ ทั้งนายจ้างด้วยคือต่างคนต่างตัวก็มีผลต่อเรื่องการย้ายกลับประเทศต้นทางพม่ากัมพูชาซึ่งในช่วงนั้นเนี่ยแรงงานหายไปเยอะก็มีผลนะฮะและปัจจุบันเนี่ยก็มีการแก้แล้วก็ค่าปรับที่สูง 400,000 ถึง 800,000 ก็ลดลงมาก็ประมาณแสนค่าปรับก็ไม่เยอะมากซึ่งถามว่าเกิดผลดีไหมก็เกิดผลดีทั้งตัวนายจ้างและตัวลูกจ้างด้วยนะฮะเพราะว่ามีการปรับลงมาแล้วนะครับซึ่งก็มีการประกาศใช้แล้ว
And the new bills related to migrant workers that were launched half years ago, now the bills has been adjusted. For example, the fine penalty, it used to be 400,000 up to 800,000, and now they reduce it to be 100,000. So Sompong said like this should be a better opportunity for both employers and migrant workers.
ข้อสังเกตเวลาแรงงานจดทะเบียนแต่ละครั้งตัวเลขขึ้นมาสูงแต่พอปีหลังๆก็เริ่มไล่ลงมาเรื่อยๆแล้วค่อยๆขึ้นจากนโยบายใหม่เพราะฉะนั้นเราก็มองว่าในช่วงที่มีประเด็นปัญหาคือเรื่องของการพิสูจน์สัญชาติอย่างการพิสูจน์สัญชาติของทางกัมพูชาเนี่ยก็เนื่องจากมีone stop serviceของกัมพูชานี้น้อยแรงงานก็อาจจะยากในการเข้าถึงเช่นอยู่ที่สงขลา1 จุดอยู่ที่ระยอง1 จุดแต่แรงงานกัมพูชาอยู่ทั่วประเทศก็ลำบากในการที่จะมารีจิสเตอร์และสำคัญอย่างยิ่งคือค่าธรรมเนียมฝั่งกัมพูชาเนี่ยสูงถ้า TD Traveling Document เนี่ยสูงมากประมาณเกือบ 4,000 กว่าบาทแต่ฝั่งพม่าเนี่ยประมาณ310 บาทเพราะฉะนั้นความราคาสูงเนี่ยแรงงานไม่มีทางเลือกก็ต้องเป็นหนี้นะครับอันนี้ก็จะเป็นตัวที่ว่าตัวแปรหนึ่งที่ทำให้แรงงานประสบปัญหา
And then the other factors will be the support. For example, the one-stop service provided by Cambodian government are very limited. There's one in Songkran, there's one in Rayong. But then the Cambodian workers are everywhere in the country. And then we were talking also about the fee, the registration fee. The fee for Cambodian, it's almost 4,000 baht. Comparing to a Burmese worker, when they go to register, it's only 310 baht. So this is why the cost for Cambodian people to go through the nationality identification process is much higher.
แล้วก็ทำไมที่แรงงานกัมพูชาไม่อยากเข้าระบบนี้ไปอาศัยระบบใต้ดินไปดูแลไปก็เขาบอกว่าดูแลดีกว่าที่มีเอกสารด้วยซ้ำไปก็ปลอดภัยก็จะเป็นเหตุผลที่เขาจะไม่ต้องอยู่แต่ในขณะเดียวกันรัฐบาลเองเนี่ยผมทำงานส่วนหนึ่งคือใกล้ชิดกับรัฐบาลเนี่ยก็เห็นว่ากลไกรัฐบาลพยายามกำลังจะทำงานให้มีประสิทธิภาพเช่นมีล่ามประจำศูนย์ไบโป้ทุกจุดเวลาไปตรวจแรงงานนะครับแต่ว่าประสิทธิภาพหรือว่ากันอีกเรื่องหนึ่งจะทำไงหรือเวลาเกิดเรื่องร้องเรียนเนี่ยนะครับก็สามารถที่จะลิงก์ประสานได้รวดเร็วมากขึ้นแต่ว่าประเทศไทยก็จะมีกฎหมายคือกฎหมายคุ้มครองกับกฎหมายควบคุมเพราะในกรณีที่เขาถูกละเมิดถูกกระทำหรือไม่ว่าจะเป็นทางเพศทำร้ายร่างกายหรือว่ามีนายจ้างเขามีสภาพการจ้างงานเกิดขึ้นแต่ว่าเขาไม่รับค่าจ้างอย่างนี้กฎหมายคุ้มครองที่ดูแลเราปกตินะฮะแต่ว่าแน่นอนเราก็น่าเห็นใจสำหรับคนที่ประสบปัญหาที่อยู่ในเมืองไทยก็เป็นโจทย์ที่ท้าทายสำหรับเราที่จะทำงานให้เขาเหล่านั้นเข้าถึงสิทธิได้
So then, according to LPN Works that also work with the government, so there are also more support from the government that try to support Cambodian migrant workers. For example, now they try to assign a translator in every PIPO center, pot in and pot out center in every province, so that at least there can be some frontline responders that can reach out to the workers and they know where to reach out for help when they are exploited. And then he also mentioned about the other cases will be the more support from the government to the workers.
สุดท้ายทุกคนคงจะเห็นด้วยพร้อมเหมือนกันก็คือจะทำไงให้แรงงานเนี่ยนะครับแต่ที่หนึ่งมาอยู่ประเทศไทยแบบถูกต้องมีนายจ้างมีงานทำไม่ถูกละเมิดมีนายจ้างปฏิบัติที่ดีอันที่สองไม่ยึดเอกสารไม่ยึดบัตรเพราะว่าเราพยายาม educate public ว่าทำอย่างนี้ไม่ถูกต้องแต่ก็ยังมีนายจ้างหรือโบรกเกอร์ที่แย่ๆก็ยังยึดบัตรเอกสารอยู่ทั่วไปหรืออย่างประมงภาคประมงเนี่ย ต้องมี ATM ต้องมีสัญญาจ้างถือไว้กับทัวร์ก็มีบางลำก็ไม่ปฏิบัติก็ยึด ATM ไงว่าให้อันเนี้ยก็เวลาไปตรวจก็โชว์ว่ามี ATM แต่เวลากลับไปก็ยึดคืนอย่างเงี้ยนะครับมันก็จะมีเรียกว่านายจ้างที่ไม่ปฏิบัติตามกฎหมายก็มีนะครับแต่ว่าถ้านายจ้างที่ปฏิบัติตามกฎหมายนี่เขาก็บอกว่าโอเคฉันเป็นต้นแบบที่ดีแล้วอะไรประมาณนี้นะฮะก็ผมจะช่วยให้พี่น้องแรงงานเนี่ยที่เขาโชคดีได้เจอนายจ้างที่ดีก็เสมือนเขาเป็นแฟมิลี่นะฮะแต่ว่าโชคร้ายเนี่ยคือบางคนก็จะตกประสบชะตากรรมอยู่ตรงนั้น
And then the other thing he mentioned earlier was also related to the protection law. He mentioned about, for example, like the workers are not being paid at the promise by the employer. So those they should still fall under the protection law where they can claim for their rights. And then he also mentioned about where the employers took the documentation from the workers. So that should be some penalty and punishment, and especially for the fishing boat. For example, there was a check when the authorities went to the fishing boat to check, and then there's by the law that now each employers need to provide the employees with the ATM card and then all the supporting documents. So when they did the check, every document was presented. It seems to be okay, but then once the authority left the boat, the captains or the employers took all the all the documents from the workers again. So he mentioned that there are also some good employers where they follow where they follow the laws, where they follow the policy and make it as advantage. But then there are also some bad employers where they still don't follow the laws and they still take advantages from the migrant workers.
Last words of wisdom from Lee.
Yes, thank you. I just mentioned about asking question. The migration is a cycle, is going on. In Cambodia, just a case, just give an example. A Cambodian family who sent 6 of their children working in Korea, and they remitted more than $6,000 per month back home. So the reduction of poverty is, is already, and also I contributed for Swiss Embassy in 2013 regarding the remittances from Thailand to Cambodia. I'm not talking about the money they earn it, but only the money they send back to Cambodia is more than $100 million per year. We calculated sent by around 5,000 baht per family to Cambodia, and the amount of people who come to Thailand but this is when they don't have problem. When they have problem, the cost is more expensive than the money sent back. Yeah, if you fill up to trafficking, exploitation, etc. Another question I see from my colleague from Cambodia regarding the trafficking issue. We have one case, particular case in 2010. The case was trafficked more than 1,000 people to other country, which is the recruitment agency was registered legally in Cambodia. But the way they traffic the train is different. And then what we found out, the most difficulty dealing with this case is no cooperation between country and country. Without cooperation, it's very difficult to deal with the trafficking issue. And the trafficking can be cross-border and can be also arrival and destination. They can travel legally, but at the end they fall up in trafficking also. So our case, 2010, the case was recognized by UNDC, and the case was taken as an example regarding the recruitment agency which is legally registered but fall up in trafficking, human trafficking. Thank you.
And thank you to all the speakers. I think there is a lot more to discuss. As we know, migration is very complex and it borders with exploitative labor, trafficking, forced labor, slavery, and nowadays there is a lot of terms that are being used to identify basically exploitative condition of this kind of migration. Now, to me, the question still remains, 20 years of work in this field, whether we still continue to keep this registration system and contract labor or look for alternative models of migration also for ASEAN and Southeast Asia. Does it need to be like the European Union? And we know the European Union these days cannot really be a good example in this regards, but still, whether we should start to talk about free labor within a region rather than still continuing to repair this system, which, as we know, it does improve. There is a recent study also from ILO and IOM which proves that even if registered and documented doesn't make that much difference in terms of exploitative labor. So I think we really need to do some serious rethink about it. Please continue the discussion outside